Sup cunts, welcome to another video. If you're new here, subscribe. If you're returning, welcome back. Today we're talking about slings. So first we're going to talk about the different types of slings that are out there, and then we're going to talk about how those slings can be set up. Let's go through a few different sling types. So on our left here, you probably can't see all these because of how the camera's set up. From left to right, the shittest sling I have through to the best sling I have. We'll talk through the different types, what they're used for, and then we'll go to the living room where I can stand up with the guns and I'll show you how to set all these up. So the first style is the fucking tactical, bloody buyotoffwish.com, fucking looks awesome but isn't style of slings. So here's a really shite one that I was given years ago. It's shit, have a look at it. It's one of these elastic ones. So the idea being that it would be shortened because of the elastic, so it's not dangling off your rifle, that when you sling it, it would extend. There is a problem with that. Because it's elastic, if you have that slung, it's actually going to do that the whole time, and it's going to bounce your rifle on your shoulder. It's a fucking pain in the ass, and what it will do is eventually it'll bounce off your shoulder, you'll be constantly readjusting it, it'll move around, they're just shit. Right, the other thing that these type of slings have, because they're not really made for hunting rifles, they're made to be all bloody American fucking yip-yah, AR-15, fucking tactical, I've got to defend my home bloody bullshit. They come with usually this style of clip, or this style of clip, which we have here. Let's see that. So it's for little like QD style bloody single point fucking things. The carabiner style like that, I fucking do not like because they do not fit properly on normal hunting rifles where you've got the, I'm sure you'll wear the small sling studs. And then if you do have, like you buy extra ones like this style, fuck it, I'll just put you know what I mean, I'll put a photo up there. Then this is slopping around, it's making noises, tinging and shit. So that style I don't particularly like. Like this is another version of it where, you know, normal sling at one end, or normal sling, but then the ends are the little bloody QD things with elastic. Same deal, it bounces around, it's not actually that good. That's those types, garbage, don't bother with those. This is sort of in the same sort of vein, but a little bit better. So this is a 3-point sling. The idea behind that, if we can get this unraveled, is you can keep it nice and short on the bottom of the rifle, so it's kind of tucked away and out of the way, so you're not getting it snagged on the bush or whatever, and then you can hit this little bloody Fast X clip there, and then it will extend out to be longer. So that's a 3-point sling. It's more of like a military thing, and you're probably not going to be using that for hunting either. I did used to use that years and years ago on my old 3.0. It worked alright, but once again, with those sort of carabiner styles on normal sling swivels, it's just pain in the ass. So that's the shit ones out of the way, so let's just fuck those off. Let's move on to normal hunting slings. So the most common style you're going to come across is probably this sort of style. This is what most people buy as like their first sling. Like, it's not bad. The pros of this style is generally the inside layer is rubberized so it doesn't slip off your shoulder. And it's up there nice and, ooh, yes. And then it does come with incorporated normal sling swivels that are designed for the actual studs you will have on a hunting rifle. The things I don't particularly like about this exact one, so if you're going to look for this sort of style, these are the things to look for. Things that I personally don't like, the ends here are elastic, so it has an elastic end there, and then right in the center here, this part here is elastic as well. And once again, that's the same as what I talked about before. When that's on your shoulder and you're walking through the bush or whatever, the elastic tends to bounce. So your rifle will be bouncing up and down your shoulder. I fucking hate that. There's nothing more annoying than gear bouncing around on you when you're walking in the bush. Absolutely hate it. It's the worst. Don't get anything with elastic in it. That's just my opinion, but that's what I'm gonna recommend for you. Don't get anything with bloody elastic in it. Right, the other thing I don't particularly like about this sling itself, like I do use this sling a fair bit, but one thing I don't like as well is the width of this shoulder strap. It's fucking huge. It's too big. Like, I don't know, I just like thinner straps, I guess. But to me, that just sort of gets in the way, and sometimes get up on your neck, and it can be a pain in the ass. But this is definitely not the biggest one. Like, I've seen ones that are way bigger than this, so this is probably the limit of how big I would go. But I would strongly suggest don't get ones that are fucking massive, because there's no need for it. One thing I do like about this sling is it has this little thumb loop here, and I'll show you when I do the demo later. You can have that slung, you can stick your thumb through to hold it taut and just rest your arm there like that, and it's easy to get it off your shoulder. I think that's a pretty cool feature. That's that style of sling. So it's pretty common. A lot of my viewers, for some reason, really love Adlers. I think all of my most viewed videos are all the Adler videos, so hey, Adler. If you've bought an Adler, you'll realize that it comes with its own integral sling, swivels, like actual loops that you would put the strap through. But when you buy a normal sling, it already has those clips on it, which they don't pair up. So you have to get a sling that doesn't come with swivel clips, whatever the fuck you call them. So I had to lash out. There's a few cheap ones out there, but I couldn't find anything of that style, so a style that doesn't have the clips on it, with a thin strap like this. So it has to be a thin strap. If it's anything bigger than, I think this is 20 mil strapping. If it's 25 mil strapping or up, like normal size, this is 25 mil. 25 mil doesn't fit, 20 mil does, but it's very hard to find a good sling with a 20 mil strap. This one I did have to fork out a fair bit of money for. This is German. This is from Nigalo. It's German, whatever. I can't pronounce German shit. Awesome sling. Was $100 though, so it's expensive, but fairly worth it. Now the good thing with this, obviously, has the normal ends, so I can just loop them through and cinch them off. And what it does have is it has a neoprene strap. It's kind of thin too, so if you compare that with that, and it does have a rubberized inside, so it does ride on your shoulder quite well. Now, being neoprene, it does have a little bit of stretch in it, but it's not bouncy stretch like elastic. So it doesn't really bounce around on your shoulder, but it is stretchy enough to conform to your body and be really, really comfortable. So I do like that sling. So if you're looking for a sling for an Adler, I would highly recommend just pay the $100. Look, it's when you first think like, $100 for a sling, but then when you after use, you're like, okay, that's worth $100. So Nigalo slings, they sell these at Fat Rat Trading. Link in the description. Moving on to my favorite two slings that I use all the time. These are the two I sort of interchange between all my rifles because I like these ones the best. First one being this really, really old school leather strap. Just a normal leather sling. As you can see, it's not too wide in the profile side. It's leather, so leather does have a slight bit of stretch in it, but nothing crazy. It's not as much as, you know, neoprene. It's durable, it lasts in the weather. It's fucking awesome. This sling actually came on my 7mm Rem mag. It's over 30 years old and it's still going strong. I like it. It's just simple. I keep it nice and short. Sits my rifles nicely, and it's really, really comfortable. So don't pay off the normal leather strap. It could be what you're looking for. I love them. I reckon they're great. Moving on, the best sling of them all is the Safari sling. So there's a few different companies that make Safari slings. This one is made by Maroka 30, so it's Australian made. What a Safari sling does is a Safari sling, so this would go over my shoulder like this. It allows me to keep the rifle actually out in front of me, like, you know, parallel to the ground, and it's literally, I can go hands-free completely, and I can do whatever I need to do, binos and, you know, fucking other sort of shit. And then it's right there in front of me, so if I do see an animal, I can literally just lift it and bang, as opposed to having to unsling, bring it around, and then shoulder the rifle. So very, very cool. Safari sling styles have been around for a while, and they're actually developed kind of off old school, like, machine gun slings. You've probably seen pictures of bloody Rhodesians. It's that principle. Keeps the weapon in front of you, keeps it readily accessible. Safari slings, this one I think is fucking awesome. The thing I don't like about the Maroka 30 sling is it doesn't come with the swivel clips. You do have to buy those separately, which is a bit ridiculous, and then you kind of have to, like, just bloody weave them through the para tape sort of thing. I think that's a bit ridiculous. And then it doesn't usually sit straight because you've done it yourself. If Maroka 30 just made their slings with that integrated, would be mint. So the slings themselves are $60, so that's actually pretty reasonable for a good sling. And then I think these swivels were like the cheapest ones I got. I'm pretty sure they're Spiker. Yes, they are Spiker. And they're like 10, 15 bucks or whatever. So all up, you're looking at 70, 75 bucks for a setup, which is cheaper than the Nigalo sling. Pretty bloody good. It does have Farkstex clips, so you can leave that attached to your rifle and take the other part off. They actually make it like that, so you can connect that to your Maroka 30 pack or your Bino rig or whatever. So it's all interchangeable. That's pretty good. The shoulder strap is super, super comfortable. And they do have, so instead of having elastic in their systems, they do have this plastic, like bloody shock absorber thing, which gives it a little bit of movement to sort of absorb the shock if you're bouncing around. Not that your rifle should be that heavy that it's going to fuck your spine from carrying it, but it does absorb a little bit of shock, but without being overstretchy like elastic. I'll just reiterate that one more time. Elastic is shit. If the sling has elastic in it, don't buy it, because it's shit. You're probably now like, oh, okay, cool, I'm going to pick that, and then you can fuck off and go buy it and stop this video. If you want to see how they're set up, stay tuned. Yeah. Welcome to my fucking living room, which is a shit fight. And say good day to Gary the Goat. He's a bloody big one. As you can see, as I said before, it's got this thumb loop here, so you can be all bloody comfortable. It's actually pretty good. So as you can see, I don't know if you can really make that out. This sling, because it's so wide, I can't hoik it up in the crook of my neck enough, so it sort of sits down actually on top of the joint of my shoulder. I find that really, really uncomfortable. I like to have slings, you know, right up in there. Different setups. Obviously, we have this setup like this is the normal carry your bloody rifle setup in the bush. The thing I don't like about rifle slings, particularly walking around like this, it's a good little admin thing to go from, you know, your car to where you start hunting. But if you're actually out hunting with a slung rifle, I think that's a bit ridiculous. I've had it happen to myself plenty of times, and I've had it happen to mates plenty of times before, where, you know, you're bloody walking along and then a deer would stand up or a pig or whatever, and you're like, oh fuck, and then you've got to try and bloody unsling. You can, if you stretch a little bit, you can put it over your shoulder. This way is actually not too bad, especially if you're hunting with dogs or whatever. You don't really need to have your rifle because they're going to bail the animal anyway. So you can actually sling it across. It's not going to slip around. It actually is pretty comfortable. And then you can unsling. If you're slinging it like this, I would suggest putting a QD clip in the middle, so you can literally grab your rifle and clip your sling off completely, because it is a little bit quicker than trying to squeeze your head through all this. Is my mic still there? Oh, yes it is. So yeah, another technique is muzzle down. Some people like to do this. Actually, I see it more on Americans do it a bit more than Australians, but muzzle down as a bit more of a muzzle awareness thing, so they know that, you know, if the rifle was to actually discharge, then they're going to go into the ground. However, you know, if it was going to discharge, it's more than likely going to go on your fucking leg. But some people are a bit funny about walking around with rounds chambering, like, oh, what if it accidentally goes off and goes into the air and kills someone 17 million miles away? Upside down like that. The only problem with a right-handed rifle, slinging it muzzle down on your master side, is the fact that now your cocking handle, which is usually big and bulky, is sticking in your back. So I think that's pretty bloody stupid. Or you could carry it muzzle down on your non-master side. Some people like this way because they find it easier to unsling. So they would unsling like that, straight into shooting, back into slung. It's up to you, choose your own bloody adventure. That's a couple of ways you can set that up. All right, so here we have a safari sling. So as you can see, it keeps it in front of my body, ready for use. It also keeps me hands-free, so I can do binos and fucking whatever else I want to do. The drawback, as I was saying earlier about the safari sling with a rifle, if you have anything on the butt, like a cheek riser, shell case holder, whatever, is this back part here will get caught. So the idea is when you raise the rifle up from a safari sling, this back part needs to come off the butt for it to work. So because this gets caught up on this knobbly thing here, if you can zoom in on that, I can't actually physically get it up into my shoulder because it catches there like that. When this comes up to the shoulder, this back part here will actually completely slide off the rifle like that. So that's why it doesn't work with the other style. So I whack this on, hangs down nice and loosely. It's fucking pretty good. You can walk around with your hand on the rifle if you really want, and you can still use one hand. It's pretty comfortable. I've found that with really heavy rifles, if you're going to run a really heavy rifle for a long time, it can sort of pull down because it's on one shoulder. And one thing I tend to do a fair bit, which is kind of bad for your back, is I tend to rest my arms on the sling like that, which is super comfortable for a short amount of time, but if you're walking for a while, I found that it does actually pull into your shoulder a fair bit. I've also found that it kind of impedes itself with if you've got a big bino harness on, particularly the Roca 31, which is funny because this is made to go with it. I found that it is a little bit hard to get the rifle up to your shoulder because you've got shit in the way. But when I'm just rolling like my GPSs for the dogs and whatever, I find that it works quite well. So to demonstrate, if you wanted to come up and shoot something, this will just slip off and it comes straight into the shoulder like that. Now obviously when you put it back down, if you were just to let it go, it rolls over like that because you haven't got this around the butt. So you can reset that when you come back down and she's all good to go. So it's a lot quicker than, you know, unslinging a rifle because you literally just bring it up into your shoulder and you're ready to fire. Pretty bloody quick, I like it. That pretty much covers off on the whole video. So we've gone through some sling styles, what to avoid when you're looking for a sling, how to set those slings up, and then hopefully this informs you a little bit because you want to go out in the bush and you want to sling your rifle and you want to be able to shoot animals as well. Hope you enjoyed that video. If you like that content, subscribe, there's more of that coming. You may have seen on other videos, I've been wearing this jumper a fair bit, particularly when I've been working on the Navara, if you're watching that little vlog venture series as well. The jumpers are available, link in the description. Use the code FUCK and you will get 10% off. So jump over there, buy yourself a hoodie. There's heaps more merch on there as well. So yeah, until next time, who bloody roo.